So in order to improve your Fortnite game performance in your Macintosh, whatever it is, MacBook Air or MacBook Pro 2017, 13 inches, like my case, you're going to essentially need the first two programs. One of them is probably you heard about is the memory clean, so you can free available memory RAM, so the game can perform better, and you leave your graphic card some free space to run the game in perfect conditions. Then you're gonna want the SMC fan control. What this does is it prevents that the game and the computer freezes due to an overwarm of the computer. As it sells, it controls the fan. So now we're gonna want to open the application, the game in this case, Epic Game Launcher. Now we're gonna hit launch. We're gonna close Epic Game Launcher since it occupies a bunch of RAM memory. We're gonna, meanwhile it opens, we're gonna clean the memory, just hitting clean and leave it right there. So we're going to wait a little bit. Now the FPS aren't going to be that high because I'm using QuickTime Player at the same time. So this app, the QuickTime Player, occupies a bunch of FPS, so it's not gonna be that high as normal. Probably the double if you don't have the QuickTime Player running at the same time. You see, you should be here like 60 FPS, but because of the application, okay. So the video settings is the more important part. You're gonna play with them and you're gonna set them as you feel more comfortable. So I used window mode since it doesn't make that much big of a difference. Display resolution, I use this one and it works just fine for me. I use 60 FPS since you only need 40 to 60 in order to the game to work well. So you don't need like 200 frame per second because it can probably overwhelm your computer if you don't have like a game computer. If you have a Mac, you probably want to set it to 68 frame per second or 120 frame per second. Then you can set this as much as you want. Like the view distance is kind of important. You have at least medium. Shadows, they're not that important, and this one aren't that important. You can just play with them and see how you like them. I have them in the lowest one in order to don't have lag because I don't like the game lagging, and it doesn't really make that much of a difference for me to playing 480 to playing 720. I mean, it's better if you play in 720 because you're gonna have a better game resolution. But if you wanna improve your game performance, you're gonna have to leave it in 480. The VS, Y, and C, you're gonna leave it in off in order to turn the frame rate limit to whatever you want, motion blur off, and show FPS on. The audio, the quality you want to have it low, and that's for all for the game. So sometimes some Macs have an issue, like my mate that has a Macintosh Air from 2015. That's he hasn't made any improvement. Like he has the same graphic card and the same i-core i5, I think, and he has the game and he can play like for 3 straight hours, then it will just work fine. In my case, I have the 2017 Macintosh Pro 13 inches, so I mean it should be better, but sometimes when I'm playing, and even though I have like 60 FPS playing the game, my screen completely freezes. But it is not only the it is not only the game, it is the whole Mac, and sometimes it's 10 to 20 seconds, but sometimes you will need to restart the computer, and it is something that really annoys me. So you will have to need to do those things. One good thing for that is the SMC fan control, because they can be a reason because of an overwhelming of the computer. And second, you will need to reinstall the Macintosh High Zero, because it can be a problem of the computer. If you do so and still experiencing some problems of the Macintosh screen freezing, I've talked to to the assistants of Apple, and they told me that some Macintosh some problem issues with this, and they're gonna release like a new actualization solving this problem. So I guess you just have to wait. So guys, I hope you find helpful this video, and I will see you soon.